Austraeoh by Imploding Colon, read by Deathlight, Chapter 153, Stones.
Do you hear me now, Philly?
Echoed the voice of Coal Canner in the cold desert air. Rainbow stood on the edge of the wooden platform. A crimson sun was setting over the ravine, casting a shadow over the eastern edge of the chasm and painting the rest of the landscape in amber hues. The Pegasus held a blue crystal in her grasp that was glowing with each vibration of the unicorn's disembodied voice. "Yep, I hear you as clear as rainfall," Rainbow Dash replied. She pivoted the glowing blue shard around and around before her. "Do you hear me? Is this thing on?"
What's your favorite vegetable?
Rainbow fidgeted. "String beans, I guess? What does that have to do with anything?"
Just making sure I'm picking up you, and not the telepathic feedback of my own thoughts.
The blue crystal stopped glowing. The door to the shack opened, several feet away. Coal Canner marched out, levitating an identical stone of his own. He crossed the distance between the two and stood before Rainbow Dash. "No pony loves the kind of vegetables I do." "Celery? Brussels sprouts? Spinach?" "I'll tell you if it means you change your mind about this crazy journey of yours." "Sorry, guy," she replied with a smirk, juggling her own crystal from one hoof to another. "Guess I'll have to stay in the dark then. It's the sacrifices we make after all." "Well, that's putting it lightly." He drifted towards his rock. "These stones should afford a moderate amount of communication." "Why only moderate?" "Well, if you two were unicorn imbued with magic, then you and I could cover considerably longer distances, even scaling the continent if need be. But, as I'm the only one possessing a horn, it will most likely cover no more than 1,000 miles. "Sounds cool in my book." She smiled and looked at the soundstone up close. "I've done something kinda like this before, only it requires the moon to be full." "Oh?" Coal Canner leaned his head to the side with curiosity. "That must be some insanely powerful unicorn magic." "Alicorn, actually." His eyes narrowed. "You've consorted with the goddesses?" Consort is such a funky word. Would you prefer a more apt title? "Nah, I'm good." Rima pocketed the soundstone away in her saddlebag and shuddered. "I've had it up to here with titles." "To each their own." He said with a shrug, then lifted his soundstone into a belt strapped about his weathered haunches. "I would have very gladly have donated us a piece of pristine Darkstenian quartz, but I'm afraid Desert Light and myself will have to retain those for communication with the authorities due west of here." "Well, I'm not about to ruffle any pony's mane. At least, any more than I already have." "Am I talking to a national fugitive all of a sudden?" She smiled. "I wouldn't be a very successful criminal if I allowed a guard the means to talk to me over long distances while I made my getaway." "Again, I wish I had a better sample of rock to use for this scenario." "I'm sure this will work just fine, CC. You've been generous enough as it is." "Merlin sapphires have an exquisite enchantment for fusing to ley lines. And then, if make an alloy out of the local rubies out of the ravine's lower crust, jaded as they are, it could add a firm buffer to the communication spell. Unless, of course, we would use Hydra diamonds to increase the range of the ley line diffraction." "Hey, I'm a bit unsure of asking you this, because I'll sound like a real blundering idiot if I'm wrong. But, are you a diamond dog in disguise?" "I'm pretty sure I'd smell a lot worse if I was." Good one. Rainbow turned and faced the darkening horizon beyond the ravine. "You surely don't plan on leaving tonight?" "Why not?" "I may not be the avid explorer that you are, but venturing across the desert, by air or by land, is hardly a pleasant experience during the night. Aside from the bitter cold, an occasional sandstorm might blot out the stars and make travel daunting at best." "I think it's downright cute how concerned you are for me, and trust me." Rainbow Dash winked. There's not a lot of crud in life that I'll admit is cute. I guess you're just unlike most young sprites who pass through this area, Colecounter said, pacing up along the length of the platform's railing. You're full of life and optimism. That's not something that should be sent lightly into the unforgiving East. If I don't head east, every other direction in my life will be unforgiving. The old star started to chuckle hoarsely. Rainbow raised an eyebrow. What? He turned to look at her in the dimming sunset. I almost remember what it was like being so determined to do something that all other avenues of possibilities become dull, like dying stars. Hey, I've consorted with the Alicorns, remember? Yeah, I've seen what it was like to raise the sun up close. Believe me, stars are overrated. If I don't spend my energy right here and right now the way I want to, then I'll lose the only light that matters. Life is full of crazy dangers and stuff, but I'd like to be least in charge of when and where I burn out, you dig? His nostrils flared as he calmly looked at her. I suppose it would have been a pity if, in the end, you simply ended up like me. She blinked awkwardly at that. So, will you stay then? He gestured towards her, bearing a gentle smile. Until morning, at least. Heh. She flexed her wings as she walked with him towards the shack. If it makes you sleep better, I'll not fly out until sunrise. That sounds like a wise decision. And hey, don't look so down in the muzzle! She winked at him and adjusted the saddlebag with her sunstone in it. Seems like we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about on the horizon.